We have another special woman to meet. The last of our Lead the Change finalists, but certainly not the least of them. Karen Jones is a woman who works for a big scientific organization, one that is very, very masculine in its culture. When I was having a chat to her earlier, she sort of eye-rolled when I spoke to her about that piece. So masculine that it's not only holding the men in that sort of alpha way of operating, it's also very much impacting the women who, as you can imagine, because of that, are driven to superwoman and beyond, and it's impacting them. So through her Lead the Change journey, Karen has felt really pulled by her vision to be able to create change within our organization, initially for the women, doing initiatives to be able to support the women, to be able to lead and be from a soft power place that is sustainable, but also being able to educate the men and bring them on the journey. So I know you're going to love hearing her journey. Please put your hands together and help me welcome to the stage, Karen Jones!
Gorgeous welcome. And first of all, I need to shout out to my 8 colleagues who are in the audience, who've flown in from the US, from France, from Italy, from Scotland. We're meaning it. We mean it. We're going to make some changes. I don't know if you know about that. That's why you're here. But we're going to make some changes. I'm really convinced about that. So to tell you my story, I think it makes sense to go back when I first started in this company in week 1. I'm a PhD trained scientist. I'm now a marketing director, and I'm a one of many coach, and now a one of many trainer. But the reason I made that journey began really in that first week when I landed my job of my dreams. I was going to lead the market development for the next generation sequencing portfolio, which was going to change the lives of cancer patients, in oncology diagnostics, in life sciences, and it was going to be incredible. And I was so excited to do that, to take that on. And I went upstairs into our flashy offices in Paisley, Scotland, all glass gleaming, and a open plan office and shiny people in lovely clothes. And I walked down that corridor and I thought, wow, look at this. And everybody was like gleaming and smiling and high-fiving. And honestly, I was not making this up. But something in my head was niggling at me. And I don't know if it was my inner critic saying, this is too good to be true, or whether I sensed something. And I didn't quite put my finger on it. But later on that day, on my first day at work, we went into an all-hands meeting, which means everybody in the functional area has to go into a room, right? All hands. And we sat in there, and we went through the employee engagement survey results from the previous year. And it all looked quite nice until there was a rumble in the room as we started to talk about work-life balance. Work-life balance had a big red mark around it and a massive minus figure from the year before. Okay, so I chalked that up. Oh God, this is the downside of the job. It all looked very good, but this is the thing. And second to that, in that same week, my boss, who's a lovely man, but maybe a bit too lovely, gave me this amazing project. Right, Karen, in 9 weeks' time, we're going to have the first next generation sequencing user group meeting. It's going to be in Portugal, and it's fantastic. And I thought, well, that sounds good, but we don't have an agenda. We got a date, and we got a location, we don't have an agenda. And we're going to have a satellite van there, and we're going to beam this meeting to 55 locations across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Off you go, he said. And I'm not kidding. So off I went with my cloak on I didn't know anybody. I was supposed to be there to do my onboarding. And I abandoned the onboarding and got on with this project, right? So there I was doing that. And actually that continued for the next 4 years. And as you can imagine, operating in that mode for 4 years does something to you. I became depressed and anxious, and I became stuck in my job. I didn't believe that I had anything left in me, right? I had nothing left in the tank anyway, and my confidence had gone through the floor. So that was one thing. I also was the breadwinner of the family at that time, because my partner was setting up his own recycling business, and I was on my own, thinking with 2 small kids, so I had to suck it up. So that's what I did. And I thought, okay, if I'm stuck here, what do I do? A little voice in my head said, if you leave this company and go somewhere else, you're gonna take your problems with you. So I thought, okay, I better sort that one out. So I took myself off onto a coaching program and addressed my needs, my unhelpful behaviors, my boundaries, my energy, saying no, and did all of that stuff, and it had an incredible effect. Hours chopped off my working week, my relationship got better, I stopped screaming at the kids. So that was great, and I felt, right, I want to bring this stuff back into the corporate world because I know I'm not alone. So I came to one of many and got the coaching certification, and I must admit, through that coaching journey, felt, God, maybe I can leave the power types out. Maybe I can leave out sorceress. And definitely I need to leave out lover, because this is the corporate world, we don't talk about that, right? So I didn't do that. What I did was I tried in a safe space, one-on-one, with coachee by coachee, figuring out how to bring this into the corporate world. And as much for me as it was for them. Anyway, it worked. One of them got a step-level promotion, having been in the same level for 13 years, and she did that halfway through the coaching program, and the same trend has continued, right? So it's working. I've now coached 70 women as a result of having gone through trainer's certification. And I can tell you that the reception has been so warm and wonderful in my company for the women who are desperate for this different way of leading, and at the same time lead the change that I had to go through in order to get trainer's certification. Gave me that confidence, stripped away the masks, and there were a lot of masks, onto the floor of the Stratford on Avon carpet, and I just became more myself. And I'm now able to lead in soft power. And I'm hoping that I'm role modeling it all over the place, right? And showing what this thing can do, because I think that's also powerful. But I've also got 150 women lined up to be coached by the end of this year. So the reception is insatiable, really is. And I'm going to keep going, because I believe that ultimately we're going to change the culture to be less male paradigm, data-centric, key performance indicators, and all of that stuff, to more collaboration, more joy, more impact. And that's my dream, is to have us working in a it feels like black and white right now. I think we can operate in color, right? And that's what we're missing. So that's my vision, and yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm not really sure where it's going, but it's growing. It's grown from one-to-ones and me being tentative to groups of 30 women at a time having massive breakthroughs, and I'm just so proud to be doing that right now. So that's my story.
With this room full of women, if there's one thing that you could ask them in terms of support, what would it be, Karen?
I'm going to get 2, because Nutanya had 2. So the first one is, for the 8 women who are here, we got to bust down some doors. I don't have a single VP or a president that is backing this right now. It's all grassroots, right? And we need to learn how to put those doors down and really open them and open some minds. So that's the first one. The second one, I'm looking for collaborators, conspirators, anybody else who's doing this in their corporate world. Yeah, let's connect, because let's swap notes. I'd love to know how you're doing it, right? So that's where I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Give her a round of applause. I mean, I am 100% behind that. Obviously, as you know, when I'm not doing this wonderful stuff with one of many, I'm out there working in the corporate world. And one of the reasons, in fact, little disclosure, when I'd done my coaching certification, I wanted to work with purpose-driven female entrepreneurs because I wanted to make an impact, and I thought if I can help them, then there's the ripple effect and it goes on. And one of the perks of being an in-house one of many trainers, you get a bit of mentoring from Jo, and we were having a conversation. She said, and what about corporate? And I said, I don't care about helping corporate women to climb the ladder. I want to make change out there. And she said, we need change in corporate. We need it hugely. And there are change makers in corporate. And I realized, yes, absolutely. Corporations, almost more than governments, have such a huge impact on society, don't they? You know, they're the ones that are influencing our purchasing decisions. They're the ones that are creating energy, medication, all those things. And I got it. I really recognize. So now I'm wholeheartedly behind that. And I know that we have some corporate women here who want to be able to, you've been inspired by what you've heard. You want to be able to take it into your organizations. And please do that. And if you want to have a little igniting spark, then know that Jo can also come in and help you do that, right? So if that's something you're inspired by, then have a conversation with Jane in the back to see how Jo might be able to help you reach more people within your corporates. Sound good? Great.